We're still waiting. Now it's 10 o'clock. And if you notice, he's talking, but he's lifted up his mask. He should be taking it off. Maybe they should learn how to use a mask properly, because you're not supposed to be doing it like that, taking it on and off. He's purposely covering up. He's purposely doing that. He was doing it before.
Okay, now is the time for Dustin Mueller.
Here we go.
COVID update.
Where's Dustin Muley?
Good morning. So we've got 4 active cases in Granite County right now.
How many?
4. Got 4.
So,
I'll turn up the speaker, please. I don't want to, last time I did that, kind of crazy.
We had 168 total in Montana yesterday, 168 total in Granite County so far.
how many? Sorry?
168. That's the total count for the county so far. 4 active cases right now. In Montana, they had 288 new cases yesterday, and which is good, down significantly from what it has been. We had a peak of 1,600 back in November on the 15th, so it's relatively low. Total 175 beds in town. Yellowstone, Cascade, and Lewis and Clark County have the highest numbers in the state right now. It's been kind of a trend. Bigger cities, just more population. So basically, our numbers are low, but we just need to make sure we don't let our guard down. The numbers are low as people start to appear. Masks and social distancing, I think it's definitely making an effect. So I noticed the grocery stores when I go into my house, and I just thought everybody's masked up, so that helps a lot. Little vaccine update. The county got 100 doses. Most of them have been administered now. We started with the long-term care residents and the hospital staff. And then they moved on. That's phase 1K, is the long-term care centers and hospital staff. And then we moved on to phase 1B after we got all those met. And we were able to get most of the sheriff's deputies, the sheriffs, the fire departments, and the EMT ambulance crews. You know, about half the folks wanted it. So we got about half of them in the county, which is really good. We got Georgetown Lake, Drummond, Phillipsburg. So we got quite a few of them taken care of. The next step would be phase 1B. That's going to be like all the schools, the teachers, not the kids, but the schools, the daycare centers, grocery stores, post office, other frontline workers. So hopefully we'll be starting to move into that a little more heavily here in the next week or so.
You put the mic up
It's not.
Are they get recommended? They're not made.
No, there's no mandates.
Well, these Pfizer or Moderna?
They're the Moderna vaccine. Moderna comes in boxes of 100 doses. The Pfizer comes in boxes of 975 doses. So like our smaller jurisdictions throughout the state will distribute. I don't think we're going to see any of the Pfizer. That's the one that has to be stored at the ultra-cold temperature. The Moderna can just be stored in a normal freezer. And it's a lot more convenient. Yeah, so phase 1B, hopefully we'll start that within the next week or so, hopefully. We're just basically waiting for the rest of the state to catch up with their phase 1A to make sure all the hospital staff and frontline hospital workers are done. And once the rest of the state catches up, they'll start sending us more doses. The hospital's going to request 300 more doses. And that should take care of the beginning of phase 1B. That's, again, 75 and over, and other frontline essential workers. So we're really making a push to get the schools and the daycare centers and the grocery stores, Buckham's here in Phillipsburg, and fixed down in Granite. Get those guys vaccinated with one too, just because that's where a lot of the spread is. Inadvertently, but people are, it's a lot of, the only place that a lot of people go is the hospital and post office, or the grocery store and post office. So we'd like to try to get those guys different things.
What about county employees?
Yeah,
That
well,
has to meet the public.
that'll be in phase 1B, or phase 1C, excuse me. And if there is anybody that's over 75 or has a underlying condition, they might be moved up. And, they kind of left it to the discretion of the counties to move through the phases. So, like, for example, we got 100 doses and we did the hospital staff, and then we were able to move right on into phase 1B with the first responders and fire, sheriff's department and stuff. So as soon as we start fulfilling the requirements, we can kind of move around a little bit. So it's nice that they kind of left it for discretion. They sent out on message, Scott was looking at it earlier, and it's got a pretty good breakdown of what they're hoping for the timeline. It's still,
Note again,
the timeline is not set.
he didn't have a mask on.
Hopefully
He didn't have a mask on, he being Scott Adler.
We have a conference call tomorrow, which will have 2 a week, and they just kind of give us an update on distribution of the vaccine and just where the rest of the states.
He should have read this already.
In a lot of ways, we're fortunate to have a smaller community. Kind of makes it happen. So, couldn't imagine being a big city right now trying to do this. It would be quite a juggle. And the only other thing that I have right now really is we've got a hand sanitizer still. We've got over 300 gallons down at the shopping mall. And I sent out a email to the state seeing if anybody else needed it. But I'm going to take some over to the Helena Police Department. They're requesting 10 gallons. There's 2 other counties, Chester County and another one over in Eastern Montana, that is low. So I told them that I would send them some or figure out some way to get it. They can use it, because I feel like we started out pretty strong distributing it, and now it feels like everybody's saturated in it. So we'll definitely keep a bunch on hand, but I would like to see it go out to some other jurisdictions. So if you guys are okay with that, I'd like to see it.
It's fine with me.
Yeah, I know Paul. He's been really good with us, Paul. It's right in the middle of this asphalt shed down there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure he's not real thrilled about it. He keeps saying, it's okay, it's fine, don't worry about it. But I would like to get it out of there.
And he hasn't said much.
Yeah. So I talked to him this morning and told him that I was going to get some. But if you guys know of anybody that needs it, I'm trying hard to get it. He's been out. And that's really about all I have right now. You guys have any questions?
Okay, if you're done, we're ready for the county health board recommendations and decisions.
So did you see the letter from Jeremy Hall?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
Find out again now. I guess
That's what I encourage you guys to do, to advertise.
Can you hear me?
I just kind of want to this is just my opinion. I'm savvy and gonna do it, but I don't know if we all he was giving his own personal opinion. He wasn't on the board. And we couldn't sign too, we haven't done nothing. So
Can you hear me?
We would make a decision to
Yeah.
put him on the board. So what he gave there was a personal opinion on the mask. And I think he got spooked with the letters and that, and the calls he got, and now we're back to square one. That's my opinion. I just think the person should be able to, if it's us three.
Can you hear me?
There should be able to voice their opinion, especially when he was just he wasn't on yet.
So, we need a motion to re-advertise it.
Until we'll have to do. I figured Dr. Ryder would be calling in I want to see him on
So he did say he wants to be with me here sometimes, that he wants to be take an active role, more active role. So he's on the board as well as the local health officer. So I think, yeah,
Who's that?
Steve, Dr. Ryder.
Well, you know, and that's kind of what gets me, is we never hear from him. We never heard or seen him. I know he's busy too, but this is pretty serious stuff. You know, he should step up to the plate too, instead of jumping on, you know,
Alright.
saying, this is, yeah, it's just frustrating because it just seems like if you voice too much, boy, everybody wants to come down on it. And Dr. Ryder hasn't really supported, you know, I know he said a few things, but he hasn't showed up for conference. He
Yeah,
hasn't been on Zoom.
Dr. Ransford are really taking over the
Exactly.
job of local health officer, and I think the chair and local health officer should be separate. I think Dr. Ransford did a good job, but I think they should be separate.
I'm not saying, I totally agree with you, but now we're back to, it's hard enough to find one, now what do we do?
Yeah, we'll talk about the vacancy at 10:20. Now we gotta do business openings and closures, infections, control policies, and what to close contract instructions and other decisions.
I heard on the radio on 94.1 this morning, because this and that article, they had a thing that they're having a big talk over there, talking with the businesses and that, trying to figure out what to do. And they didn't get very far with it, besides it came down that they're just gonna try to work together and see if they can, you know, see what these because a few businesses are going for it.
Yeah, I saw that too.
People, you know, so I don't know what the hell for, like, we can't force stuff, those like they were saying, so I don't know what they're gonna do.
Well, I'll just throw this out. Is there gonna be a motion to vote on closures? Or we can just let it die?
Is there anything closed right now?
Just, you know, at like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, all the bars and such.
Yeah, restaurants, stuff like that. There's a lot of restaurants closed at 10 o'clock. You know, like Chad, he might have something to say about this too. But, you know, a lot of these bars are people are trying to, you know, I know we all gotta work together. I don't know what's going to happen.
So one thing is it's kind of just generic agenda items for a lot of you guys, if something came up, if they could. So I don't know if anyone was proposing anything, it's just
I don't think nothing's come up. I mean, I guess going by just what I heard on the radio and then two other people talking about what's going to happen.
Do you want to let me in or
How
what?
much is this going to be enforced at 10 o'clock? You know,
Well, just to settle this, I go for a motion to just follow the governor's recommendation.
Nice.
And I was just over there yesterday, and I can't say that.
so
I think it's gonna
What is the governor's
be relaxed.
recommendation?
I think it's going to be relaxed.
so that's what you currently have, just the going with the governor's.
Yeah.
So if the governor changes things, then I think it'd be time for Board of Health to.
Has Gianforte mandated anything new compared to what?
No, but I think things are coming, there are gonna be changes.
Yeah.
so you're kind of saying Chuck just wait and see what he's going to do. And
Yeah, so let me just, I'll just add that, I did see something yesterday after he came working this morning, he did mention he plans on updating, addressing the mandates this week. So I think we can wait and see what comes. And, you know, there's some speculation, like we could drop some more so than it was like to see. We'll see what he comes up with, and then the board can feel if that's appropriate for that out there if he wants things from either of
Well, we can make a motion now just to go with whatever he's gonna say. I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's the minimum, I think, and Blaine could probably answer this here, is the minimum, I think, is that we're following the governor's mandates. Counties can make things more strict and some have, but, you know, a lot of the counties in the state, especially our tri-county, and so far we've just followed the government minimum mandates, and that's like the public.
So that's what we have currently is the, Board of Health voted to keep the same regulations as the governor, but, you could do a motion today that if that changes, the Board of Health will concur with what, that we're talking about. I'd probably suggest doing it after the fact, just so you know what you're doing, but that's your decision.
Yeah, I was over there yesterday and probably 75% of the people were not wearing masks. And just for you guys, I wasn't either. It was packed up in the gallery. That's why I'm wearing a mask. And I'll wear a mask for the next meeting for sure at times until I suffocate. So,
Hello.
I know a lot of local businesses, brewery, where they set up a service mat out there, and they're, up a brewery, just to keep that open year round, just kind of spread it out. So you are a little adapting a little bit, trying to make do with what they have. Sounds like I talked to Kathy yesterday, it sounds like it's been well received.
is somebody calling in?
I'm trying to get on.
I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Better.
Okay, I'm trying to get it. Let me hang up. I think I can get on another iPad. So I'll hang up and try.
Okay. Yeah, we're looking for public comment.
So I got a couple of questions, guys. So the letter from Jeremy Hall, is that a letter of resignation from the board?
Yep.
Okay. And Dustin, do you know if the county health department is updating the COVID numbers on the website? Is that still happening?
On Facebook page, yeah. I believe that they're still doing that. There's a little bit of a lag. But as far as that is updating the Facebook page.
Okay, maybe there was something wrong with my device, but the last update I saw was December 7th.
Yeah. I'll ask her about that when I talk to her soon down here, but the last I heard was we're
Thanks.
Someone else wrote in that too.
the Facebook page.
The Facebook page was not good.
Is the county page there?
Granite County Public Health, given that the active cases December. I confirmed that for the Sorry. Did you hear that?
No.
So the Granite County Public Health Facebook page has been updated to keep the active cases current. Someone told me that hadn't been updated for a while, so they're not the spots of us who are bringing them.
Hey, Blaine, this is Jackie.
How's it going?
Good. No, we have not been posting on Facebook. The numbers on the state map have been as close as possible on confirmed cases. And as of last night, we had four confirmed cases.
Can you hear me? Okay, I can hear me.
I don't do Facebook. There's probably a lot of people that don't do Facebook, so it should be maybe on something else also instead of just Facebook.
Well, I'm supposed to put that, but like, I'm not here that often, so, I won't change it before, knowing that you just told me it's still, I will go on my website.
Can,
Say that again.
Dustin, can you help her out on this? We just find out maybe. Let's take that off.
We don't
Let's take
hear
that
it
off of
often.
your plate and let Dustin just keep that on. He can get into it more. We're gonna have to.
I'm gonna need a refresher on how to do that. I updated it once.
So there you go.
Months ago.
So maybe you better go over that. She's gonna, like I said, she's gonna take that.
Oh,
Now, what I didn't hear what you said.
This week, I'm here 3 days a week, so.
how many days?
3.
It's supposed to be in there more than time. I'll ask them.
Well, I think I should be there, because I'm in pretty close contact with Kathy.
I'll email you this,
Yeah. Okay. So let's do that, then that's fine. I don't have to every single day, but there's changes, so that.
It's just, yeah, I know.
Okay.
That's a big part of it.
Okay, sounds good.
Anywhere else that would be more widely used, there's ideas for that. kind of incorporate that as well, but I do like between Facebook, it seems like a lot of people are on Facebook.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm on. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah,
Go
was.
ahead.
Thank you. Okay, I couldn't hear too well about being on Facebook. I noticed that on the website for the county, there is a heading COVID-19, and that hasn't been updated until since November. Is anybody going to update that? That's my first question.
Yes. Yes, we're just getting lined out right as we speak on who's gonna help each other and try to get this all squared back up, okay?
I don't understand. You still have a county health board, and somebody should be putting up the information, and it should have been put up. So who's
Well,
doing
it
that?
wasn't, but they're gonna fix it.
It's going to be fixed?
Yeah.
Is anybody here other than you three from the health board? You three being the commissioners?
No.
So then if I have a...
May I make a suggestion here? Mike Cable, who is right now on vacation and he will be retiring at the end of the month, did the county board health minutes and the agenda, and I think that was something that he volunteered to do. It wasn't really commission assistant's duty. As a matter of fact, they don't do any other board meetings, agendas, and so I think the County Board of Health needs to be contacted and told of these duties that should be done by them and not by the county commission.
May I say something? Blanche, you are on the board. You and Chuck Hinkle and Scott Adler are three members of the Board of Health board.
With Dr. Ryder. I think it's easier to have one person do the minutes for the commission as well as the Board of Health, so they do the Board of Health meetings during commission time. But that's your guys' call if you want something separate to do.
Well, and this will probably, we can bring this up for discussion when we're going over the job description for
Well, can Sue do it? You're doing it now for the health board?
No, she's never done
I'm
it.
gonna help my school just trying to take her.
I don't, that's why I was saying, Chuck, I don't think we should, that's why I was asking Beth to, the help on this other stuff. Her hands are gonna be so damn full.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of.
No, right.
So,
But this is the Board of Health meeting right now, and you're taking minutes for that, so that's what you're
Oh, I
talking
didn't realize
about.
this was important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now that's my second question. Is Dr. Ryder, I already spoke with him previously, and he said he can't meet at this time because it's not convenient. I'm sorry.
So he's gonna meet with me and discuss how we can take a more active role on the board. And so I'll try to get that arranged right away.
Because there's questions that I have as far as I understand that none of the vaccines have been approved by the FDA. Is anybody familiar with that?
Dustin Muley's gonna answer you. Just listen here a second. He's the speaker.
It was an emergency authorization, emergency use authorization that they did, and I'm not sure if it's officially approved, but they did release it saying they did the best.
That's right. Under the emergency use authorization, which Pfizer as well as Moderna got, it's still in a clinical trial stage. And
That's not up to us.
I'm sorry?
That's not up to us. I mean,
This is the Board of Health. These are questions, and apparently the three of you can't answer this, and neither, well, maybe Molly can. I don't know.
I mean,
It just did.
His name is Muley.
it's a way
And
out
I'm-
of our league. I mean, it's not our decision, so.
You're making decisions right now, aren't you? and getting the vaccines, and it's going to be given out to different people, and you're making the decisions?
Did you hear what Dustin Muley said to you?
I guess not, because the sound isn't very good.
Well, just a second, he'll say it, would you say it again?
Elaine, can you hear me?
Can you hear
Not
me?
that good. I hear you very well, Scott.
Can you hear me now, Elaine?
Yes, better, thank you.
Okay, I got a new microphone. It was, yeah, like you said, it was, they approved the emergency use authorization with it, so it's not officially approved through the FDA, but they did turn it out in Buffalo, so. They are still doing tests on it, but it has been approved for emergency use.
Okay, so that's,
But it's just a question, she can ask the question.
I just wanted to realize, we're not making the call on whether.
I'm not asking you to make a call on anything.
Anything else?
No, I'll call later with correspondence and make some remarks about other things. Thank you.
Okay,
Goodbye.
now we're on, health board vacancy decision. So, we wanna make a motion to re-advertise it?
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and re-advertise for the health board.
I'll second it.
Any discussion from?
I think I said what I wanted, and I just wanna make sure that's in the, that Sue got that on record, I guess.
Any
It's
public
hard
comment?
enough to get people to be on board, you know, I know nobody's perfect. You know, everybody's got
Oh, yeah,
their
I mean,
opinion, I guess,
Yeah, I'm with you.
One question I have is, so this would be for a board member, and then once that board member is appointed, then you would have a meeting and
Like the
decide
chairman.
who's going to chair the board at that time.
Okay.
no, you're right.
But
That's all right stuff.
And I wasn't familiar with being on the county board of health, being the new person on the block. And I will make sure that I pay more attention. And if the commission feels that we would have our assistant still do the board meetings and the agenda and the minutes, then that's fine with me.
Yeah, I agree with you if she can do it while we're right here to help her. I just don't want to pile a bunch of crap on her until we get.
I already.
So the
No,
statute,
full-time job before.
statute said five members on it, 3 would be commissioners and 2 others. The statute doesn't say that 2 others should have a medical background, but that's my legal opinion, that to function properly, those 2 others should have a medical background to give advice on that. And so that's what I believe the last notice said, that's strongly preferred, some language like that to have in there.
Any other public comment on the vacancy?
Forget it.
So Elaine, it is required that 3 of the commissioners are on the board.
It's correct, by the statute, it says the 3 commissioners and
Yeah.
two others, and so historically, Dr. Ransford had been chair for years, but that's because he was, the Board of Health that made that motion and approved it.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Chat
Jan?
between them. Or you asked him to come in and say
Oh, I was
Oh,
just.
yeah, you already talked.
You're just chatting about
Oh,
if I'm over down people.
Yeah, I was just having it that Chad's around and he sees us, maybe he can come in and just give us a little update on stuff. Just so, kind of know what's going on in the county with the sanitary, if you would please. Thanks.
So, been doing the Board of Health like every other week, you want to come in every other week, or?
I think until we can get a little more resolved on something, let's just see how these businesses are coping with him and just get his feel, because obviously you he gave pretty good information on phone tape.
You normally here on Tuesdays?
Normally on Mondays, but I'd be happy. So,
Just come in, give a little 2 minutes, just something to.
yeah, so Tuesdays at 10. Yep, every other, yeah.
Okay,
Thanks.
sounds good.
For 2 weeks.
Because there's some of that stuff we need to ask, like that, above, a couple other little things once this weather breaks.
Okay, now we're on, resolution 2021-1, Granite County resolution establishing regular calendar year, your hours for calendar year 2021 first reading.
This is the first reading, so when I make my decision today.
I don't think that'll change it.
Thanks, but.
It still says closed for lunch.
Yeah.
Has that been corrected?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anything else?
Are we done for a couple minutes?
What's that?
Are we done for a couple minutes?
Yeah, we're gonna go on mute for 10 minutes. 8.
There they go on mute. There they go on mute. The next meeting, it's a joke, isn't this a joke? The next meeting is at 10:40, another resolution. So I'm gonna do this.